Hey guys, this is RuRoniK95 here, once again for a discussion guide video, because we already take a look back on the guide to discussion about these DVDs with snapper cases, as well as same goes with my VCDs that I recently did in the past a while back as well. There are some obvious ones that I wanted to do something very interesting as well. Why not? Because we're going to be doing another home video format before DVDs and Blu Rays and 4K Ultra HD ones as well, because I wanted to do a different kind of video, and this time I'm doing something different in this video that I haven't thought of doing one, which I should have done until now. And this time I'm going to be doing like a little guide on this kind of video as well, because I'm going to be talking about these obsolete formats, which they stopped using because they were and you know what I'm talking about. Are the guide for today's discussion is VHS tapes or video cassettes as well. Well, what are VHS tapes, you may ask? Well, VHS tapes were invented in the late 70s, like when most of them were part of Magnetic Video Corporation, those, like, especially for other movie titles from United Artists, as well as 20th Century Fox, which is now called merged into 20th Century Studios. Most of them have like these older VHS tapes though as well, before the creation on this as well. Well, there are many obvious ones as well, like how VHS tapes on there, particularly as well, because this has gotten to the thing though, and for I think there's still most of the reason is that I just wanted to know that I just want to figure out, because I just want to know about these are the kind of obsolete videotape formats as well, like especially you could, like if you remember renting a movie on VHS tapes, like your occasional ones, like the occasional local video rental stores, as well as Blockbuster Video, probably Hollywood Video also as well, which they're now under former rentals. Probably some public libraries back in the early 2000s where they had VHS tapes also as well, because that's gotten to that case though. So I'm just going to be ranging from these various other titles on here. Most other home video companies releasing the movies on the VHS on here, like this ranges from Walt Disney Home Video, to Warner Home Video, CBS Fox Video, Playhouse Video, MCA Video Cassette Incorporated, which is later became MCA Home Video, as well as MCA Universal Home Video back in the day, and same goes with the Universal Home Entertainment as well, Paramount Home Video, as well as, particularly, and Buena Vista Home Video, as well as Fox Video, which is now part of in conjunction with 20th Century Fox Home Entertainment, but nowadays it's merged as 20th Century Studios as well. BBC Video, VHS releases, any kinds of home videos in the format, and also Good Times Home Video as well, if anybody remembers it as well. And that's particularly the thing as well of what I could come across for these as well. Well, there are many Universal Home Video titles, like many of them, like for example, like have the stop copy encoded, stop copy protection encoded on one of those like older VHS releases from MCA Video Cassette Incorporated, like the ones that were released in the 80s on there. Like, say for example, like there's this old VHS copy of The Incredible Hulk with Bill Bixby pilot episode on VHS. It was originally released on VHS by MCA Video Cassette Incorporated on there. which is, I believe it was 1981 when it was on VHS, and it had a stop copy protection encoded on the VHS on here, and I wasn't sure if this was protected by macrovision or something. Well, there's many obvious VHS releases. Many of them have protected with the macrovision on there, on every one of them as well. As many with those these FBI warning screens on the VHS releases on here. There's many one of them obviously as well, particularly as what I come across for this as well. And yet, excuse me. Well, there are many Disney VHS releases on there, which ranges from the Neon Mickey, white clamshell case ones, to the Black Diamond editions under the classics, as well as the Walt Disney Masterpiece Collections, to the Walt Disney Gold Classic Collections on the VHSs on there. Many is obvious on the VHS, because I'm telling you what it ranges from, how these whatever come across. And probably some big box VHSs on there. Especially, there are some ones from USA Home Video, like when Silent Night, Deadly Night was released on VHS by USA Home Video. I think it was, like, particularly how it was in a big VHS box on there as well. Of course, that's the question, particularly of how VHSs were when they were released on these, like, big box VHSs on there as well. Probably some MGM UA Home Video releases also from the 80s on VHS. Those are the ones that are in those, like, I believe it was those clamshell, like, VHS. No, not clamshells. No, the big boxes on here, like you see at a rental store or a local video stores on there. Most of them, for the obvious things, is that there's some on there, like when Rock and Rule was originally released on VHS by MGM UA Home Video in the 80s, it was also in those, like, big boxes on there as well. Also, for the most part, is this as well. And also, there's also most 20th Century Fox home movie titles were released on VHS. Before it was CBS Fox Video, it was back then called 20th Century Fox Video. Most of them with these, like, former video rental, most of them in these video rental library editions on here. Most of them could be rare to that as well, particularly for what this ever comes to the fact for this as well. And this come in at once as well, particularly. And this could be all for the fact for this. Most of them for this as well, which is an interesting thing, is that most of these foreign international movies were in English dubbed on the VHSs on there, that were released under RCA Columbia Home Video. Like, take for example, Allegro Non Troppo, which is one of Bruno Bazzetto's movies on VHS, was released on VHS in the 80s by RCA Columbia Home Video. It was dubbed in English on that one, which is in conjunction with Atlantic Television on here. However, they never included the English version on the DVD release, which is only in, because despite we had the Home Vision Entertainment DVD release, which is only in Italian with English subtitles. We got the RCA Columbia Home Video release on VHS with the English dub on here, if I'm not mistaken, though, because it's the only version in English, though. So I'm just going to get into the thing as well, for the fact of that as well. Most of the other ones as well. Well, there are many as obvious on there because, well, we do have some anime on VHS tapes on there when it's available, though, and the video rental stores or Hollywood Video or Blockbuster Video. Well, even though I've already even though I've already did a guide discussion about anime on VHS tapes. But the majority for video rental stores is mainly movies on there. There's some TV pilot episode movie versions on there in the video rental stores where you can find when it's available as well, particularly. Even though VHS tapes that are the old obsolete format on here, most of them were become like $1 or less, which is the cheapest way to get those as well. Particularly if you could see a VHS tape at Salvation Armies or at a Goodwill store or at the occasional flea markets as well. Particularly because despite that VHS tapes are basically, well, they're all obsolete format because the VHSs are really, really old as well, because apparently most of them no longer used VHS tapes as well. Well, we do have some on VHS tapes on there as well. Some of them have been ranging from these ones, from VHSs that have these slip covers like this as well, to VHS tapes with clamshells on here, and, well, to former library copies of movies on VHSs on here, because most of those have cleared out from the local public library's catalog system, where they clear out all the VHS tapes because they're replacing it with Blu Ray as well. Well, there are many obvious ones on here. Many video stores like Hollywood Video had these VHS tapes on here. Most of them ranging from titles like these, where it says top hit on the sci-fi genre ones. Like most of them with the Hollywood Video sticker label on here, to some that were on Hollywood Video on here. Let's take a note, for example, like I have this copy of Alien on VHS tape. This is the Hollywood Video copy, by the way, on here. You slip out of the cover. Here's the tape on here with the Hollywood Video sticker label. And same goes with this VHS slipcover with the side on here. You don't read the other one on this side on there. Neither does the top as well. Because, well, back then, they just print out the name of the titles like this as well. And then you slap it with a sticker like this on here. And then you could just read the title on here like this. Many of this, for the most part, obvious reason is, though, as well. Particularly, as well. Because I'm giving you some big examples of how, despite that VHS tapes are the obsolete formats as well, whether you can find something as well. Well, there are many ones as well, like on Hollywood Video ones, like especially these video sampler ones, as well as most of them will have these like VHS covers with the title, where they slap it with the title on the side, where they slap it with a Blockbuster Video logo on the VHS cases on here. Like, yeah, especially if it's under rentals on here. And there's most obvious other ones, like other VHS cases that are like these rental ones at a local video rental stores on there. Particularly if you ever been to one. Probably some other video stores like Ultimate Video, where they had similar VHS cases on here, and then they slap it with the Ultimate Video logo on the VHS cases on here as well. For the most part as well, particularly because, and I admit, this actually is pretty obvious for what VHSs are as well, which I always wanted to come across about VHS rentals as well. Yeah, if you ask me though, if I'm right though. Well, the VHS tapes are basically really old on here. Many other ones, like for international VHSs from other countries, and not limited to Japanese VHS releases of any movie which has the Japanese text on there, as which I could notice as well. Italian VHS releases of any certain movie, but some of them slap it with in PAL format, but it's only dubbed in Italian on VHS as well. United Kingdom VHS releases that are mainly released in there, but some of them have like in these higher, a little highest pitch on the PAL format on those UK VHS. Well, there's some of them, but some of them play it in like the normal pitch on the video format. Like it's like how they testing a VHS that is a UK import on a VCR, and they basically, it sounds a little different in a little highest pitch as well, particularly. I mean, that's obvious of how I could come across particularly as well. Well, there are many obvious ones as well. There's most of them in general, though. Well, it's not the first ones of its kind. I think that what makes different about how these on there, like, there's many ones made in conjunction with Hollywood studios, in conjunction with Good Times Home Video. Like, take a note, for example, Universal, when Universal has acquired the rights to Good Times Home Video, like, most of the titles were released on there, like, Problem Child 2 was on VHS. It was released in conjunction with Universal for what Good Times Home Video had. And there's also the Incredible Hulk pilot on the VHS in conjunction with Good Times Home Video. As far as I know, some of them can be difficult to find them anywhere, as if you ask me though as well. But for a while though, Universal gave up the rights to Good Times Home Video as well. For many ones, I know there's obvious other titles from Good Times Home Video that were also in conjunction with World Vision Home Video back then. Let's take a note, for example, for this on here. Most of them were in conjunction with NBC television. Like, I have this copy of Little House on the Prairie, which is The Craftsman, which is the only one episode on VHS. I don't know if I saw many of them, particularly. This has gotten to the case as well, particularly. Despite how obsolete VHSs were, though, because the VHSs are really old, though. I mean, nobody wants to know for the fact as well, despite VHSs are the old obsolete format as well. It doesn't mean the movie has a problem. So it depends on, I mean, well, there are many obvious ones with a VHS rewinder machine on there. Instead of fast forwarding on a VHS tape on the VCR, that could almost led to, like, I believe it will damage the tape on there, and it could have eaten up your VCR though. And technically though, is that this is the thing though, it depends on the age of the tape though as well. So it's not because of the movies it's not because movies, TV shows, or anime or cartoons in general is the problem on the VHSs. if it's on a faulty tape, though, particularly of what you could come across for this as well. Even though Blu-rays and 4K Ultra HDs have better quality than VHSs were back then, because this explains in my theory about how these VHS tapes on here. I mean, it takes 3 seconds to start on popping a VHS in the VCR for like 3 seconds. There's other ones, like the regular ones, they play about like 2.95865 in there for the most things as well. Despite I haven't been buying any VHS tapes since 2016, which was Akira, which is right in my anime collection there, particularly. Well, there are many ones I have that were unplayed, so I just use them as examples, and most of them I have to like upgrade to Blu-rays as well, because it's not because of those have a problem on the tapes as well. You just got most of those as well. Well, there are many obvious VHS box sets on here. Like I have something under there. Like, for example, like, if there's a copy of The Godfather on VHSs. It's in the first half of the movie on the VHS, and then the second half on the other second VHS copy on the tape on there as well. Like a 2-part on the VHSs on there. Just like most of them in general, though. This could be all at once for this as well. Let's take a note, for example, like many is obvious on those VHS deluxe sets on there as well. Let's take a note, for example, here, which I wanted to give it in the facts as well. Like, say, like I have this VHS set of the Beatles anthology. This is particularly a 8-volume set on there as well. Same goes with these deluxe commemorative edition VHS set on there as well. Let's say, for example, like I have this deluxe edition VHS set of Fantasia. This is the deluxe commemorative edition set that has the making of a masterpiece documentary on the VHS, and this also has some 2 soundtracks on here. There were similar to like these on Laserdiscs, but this one, however, this is actually a deluxe VHS set on there, which I think I got this on eBay back in 2000, because I think it was like around $89 to $99 or $90 or something on eBay as well, if I remember. This is how it has all got to me, though, as well. For the most part, is that I could figure it all out at once as well. And I still figure out a way, particularly of what I could come across on here. Well, there are many obvious ones on here. Most of the other ones, like on VHSs, that were never got DVD releases until, which they were only released on VHSs, but never released to DVDs. But there's some that were available on DVD in like Region 2 DVDs, which are the UK imports, as well as most of them that were released that were part of those deluxe movie sets on there. And there were also 2 movie double features on here, like that were in conjunction with Good Times Home Video as well, particularly as what I could figure out my way of this. Well, there are many ones on VHSs that have 2 episodes per tape on here. Let's take, for example, like here, that I have as well. Like, say, I have this copy of Goosebumps. There's only 2 episodes, which are Bride of the Living Dummy and An Old Story, which are... There's only 2 episodes on this VHS, which I think I got this at Hollywood Video. And by the way, this is the copy that I got is from Hollywood Video. I mean, if you However, this sticker label looks different than the other ones, like the older ones, like this as well. Because this how it has got to me for this as well. If you ask me, though. For the most part, I still say this as well. Yeah, this is a 1997 20th Century Fox Home Entertainment release on VHS, though. Yeah, because I always discuss about them on here. Well, there are many obvious ones on pilot movies on there that were released on VHS on here. Let's take on there I have, for example, like I have this copy of Kung Fu pilot episode on VHS. Yeah, because this is an old edition on here. However, there were some like this in those clamshells on here. Yeah, this is not rated. Yeah, because this is actually a TV movie. Like, when it was, like, shown on television, and I think, though. This is how what I really got to this as well. For the most part as well. But, however, some of them were released on, like, standalone DVDs. But most of them were released on, like, I believe on those season sets on DVD. Probably some Blu Ray also as well, if you ask me for this as well. For the most part of that as well, because this how it all has gotten to my case, though, for the theory of what I could come across for this as well, particularly about whenever I wanted to come by about how VHSs were back then as well. Well, there are many ones as how I still think as well. There's still some that buy VHS tapes. Some of them don't buy VHS tapes on there. But most of them can collect them as well, particularly for like VHS reviews or overviews or in general. But for me, though, I'm just basically doing like a little discussion guide to these as well, particularly. Because, you know, VHSs are obsolete format, though. It doesn't mean it's the problem. No, it's just that you just got, depending how old the tapes are, though, as well. Well, particularly for this, how it's gotten to my theory, though. Yeah, especially, most of them, like, you can convert, like, if there's a movie, like, you have, that were never released onto DVD, there's some their way, like, you can convert them to DVDs, like, those burned onto DVD discs on here, like, on a DVD-R copy ones, like, you can keep them on there, because, especially, you can convert them to DVD as well, particularly, as long that, because they could care less, like, if you could convert them to DVDs you own as well, because as long as you're not playing it on the VCR, and as long as you keep them unplayed, but you could use them to convert them to DVD as well. But that's just besides the point, though, as well. So that's going to be it for my discussion guide to VHS tapes for today, you guys. Thank you for watching, but before we go, here's what I'm going to say for this one. Look, even though I've already covered back on the guide to anime on VHS tapes a while back in the past, this is the first time I wanted to do something that I haven't thought of doing one before, which is something more interesting as well, particularly because, you know, Blu-rays and 4K Ultra HDs have better quality than the VHSs were, as VHSs used to be as well. Bless me. Sorry about that. Because 4Ks and Blu-rays have better quality than VHSs were, though, if you ask me, though. Because despite that VHSs are the old and obsolete format. Because nowadays we got the Blu-rays and 4K UHD releases on here as well. Because these are the new ones as well. Subscribe for more content. My links will be in the description down below if you want to check out my anime plan or analyst Feel free to check them out at your leisure at this point, though. And also smack the like button if you enjoyed the video as well. And also, let me know your thoughts in the comments section below on this video if you like as well. And also, be sure to subscribe to my channel by clicking on the subscribe button, especially if you're new to my channel, though. And also, smack the notifications bell button. Be sure to get notified also as well for more latest updates on here as well. And that's all I got for today. Wow, I haven't done like this one before until now. This is Rurouni K95 saying thank you for watching my video, and I'm glad you liked it. I hope you enjoy it. Hope to see you soon for the next video. Hope you have a great day. This is Rurouni K95 signing off, and thank you for watching my video, and I will see you soon for more videos. Take care.